Hello guys, it's been a long. I'm not doing much content recently, but I'm not dead. I'm still coding for a while, and I have been planning to do some 3D stuff that I left, but for some reason I'm kinda working something for this competition, but I don't know if I will finish it. I'm halfway with an engine, and it's in 8 days. But maybe the thing I'm doing might be also good for 3DO. Might be a really nice engine for 3DO. But more about that later. And the thing is, last time I did these silly videos, and I'm gonna do another silly video. But maybe I'm just gonna talk about random stuff. The thing is, okay, something, you know, the thing about AI and AI coding and all of this thing is very, very tiring, and maybe sometimes I'm spend time on Twitter, on X, and I'm just scrolling and I see bullshit, and there is something about sometimes there AI stuff, sometimes I'm doing something like where is it? Maybe here. I'm just getting tired and say, okay, I don't want to see this post or something. And the discussion around AI are so tired, but I get it, it's trending, and everybody, there are people who are overhyping it, there are people who hate it. I'm still more on the negative, although I'm using it because everybody's using, because it's out there. We even started using it on my job, but not like a push that you have to write everything with AI. Just if it helps you, it helps you with some copilot uh, licenses. And I also installed copilot here in my own computer, but with the free version because I'm not gonna pay them. I don't care if the models are good. I'll go on with this. What do I mean about it? And then when the AI discussion is, even if you're like, yeah, maybe stop thinking about it. Do things the way you want, but then you might click and you might read something, and that thread was kinda, yeah. There wasn't any post, and then someone posted and I sparked, and I kinda, so there was a post about someone saying, hey, I actually made a demo in one shot. That's the one phrase that bothers me because I hear people on Twitter saying, "Oh, yesterday I told the AI to do something, to make a whole compiler or make a whole something, a whole engine and a game and everything," and they did that. And they post something. They post some picture, some animation, some GIF animation or some video. Something that would be impressive if the AI did it, and you're like, okay, press F to doubt. I don't know. Like if I go to chat-gpt and say, yeah, please make me complete compiler demo OS. Okay, demos are simpler. OS full game engine and 3D FPS shooter. It's gonna pop out things the same way that you say, please make a, a picture of. The picture are scary because it creates something. It can be slow, it can be not. It kinda takes time. It does this metaball grid thing to make it more impressive. Oh my god, it's calculating things, it's doing stuff. It's doing stuff there. Oh my god, presentation. People think, oh my god, it's thinking. It's like computer blingen leaks in movies. It's like they had these movies with the computer doing and blinking leaks. Oh my god, it's thinking. It's taking time. Anyway, the point is, there was another claim, and it might be true, but it might be true that you prepare some framework, you prepare some stuff, you set up everything, and you put some big description file and a lot of driving of the agent. Why does it take? And it does something that looks like it stole it from Call of Duty. Come on, this is like you stole the picture from Call of Duty. Did you draw that? It's not even the AI now again. The AI, so the image appears to be gameplay from Call of Duty. So it took. There are real text here. It's, it seems like the it seems like the AI cheated here, and it got a screenshot from the internet and used it. Anyway, this is gonna be one of these videos, and there was again some old sinner. I mean, these toys are popular and people want to play. A lot of people hate them. Few people want to play. A few people want to make claims that, oh my god, I once shot something. And it goes like, here it is, and there is the description. The other thing, I know that all of these experiments have an MD file, and this is supposed to be the description that goes that the AI is reading this and it says, okay, this is the presentation. Now this is a very, and people think, okay, this is software engineering now, or this is, they call it prompt engineering. And someone will say, oh no, you put bullet points, you put everything here, and this is very well described. That this is the real software engineering, because in software engineering we have to describe things. But a normie will see that. But if a normie sees some code, like I don't know, if a normie sees this, you see, oh my god, I cannot understand. Can you make a human like? Even if it's already a human like. If you are a programmer, you can understand. And then people from the other side see this and say, oh my god, this is how programming should be. You are just saying, please do this and that and make no mistakes. Especially they make no mistakes, or you are a really great engineer and so on. You are like John Carmack. It's like the AI will say, oh my god, I must play the role of John Carmack now. I will write faster code and I will make no mistakes. And this thing, okay, I've seen it, and then the same author, because I was arguing, made another one. Oh, it's deleted. Okay, that's okay. I don't mind. Made another one as a test. Now, I'm not here to rush the author. I'm just here to talk in general. And I know I'm sparking, and people told me, I say, so if you go to close, say with nothing, with a blank slate, if I say like here, please make complete demo with all the parts, all the effects I'm gonna tell you, make it. Is it gonna do exactly the things in his screenshots? Now the reality is, yesterday I'm gonna show you. I was playing a bit with the stuff. Last year I was playing. Now of course, one mistake is that people today use code agents, and last time I was just testing with chat-gpt, for example, I was saying make this, make that. I was asking random stuff. Sometimes I was just discussing things. But sometimes I will tell it, okay, I have an SDL too. Maybe I have it here. I have all kind of, I have the vibe demon coding. So I think this was last year. And I was telling it, I prepared some framework. I didn't say write everything. I would say I have this thing, it's mine, it sets up the SDL, don't care about that. I didn't even show. I told him I have a screen buffer, it just has a width height, bits per pixel, you don't care, and the unsigned char of RAM. And I was telling it, please, this must be all generated. But sometimes it would one shot, sometimes it would not one shot, or sometimes it would do something. Now, this might be after a lot of changes. And my goal wasn't make the whole thing. My goal was I'm gonna give you. I was telling it that you have a run roto that takes the screen buffer and the ticks. It was empty, and maybe you also maybe you can make some extra function. You have an init roto that I will call for ISI to initialize things, and I will tell it fill this with a roto zoomer here, generate some. This is AI generated. So it's not like I have done some tests, and maybe, but I don't have. I have to go back and see the problem. Sometimes it did something. Sometimes I have to babysit. This didn't work. It's too close. The fixed point. The whole thing is too zoomed in or too zoomed out, or it doesn't rotate. Now we're gonna run it just for fun. I don't know if FX. I think everything of that was test. So it did the fire effect, but it's this short thing. It's not even a good fire effect. I'm on release, it goes 18 frames. Maybe that's where I stop. It calls some clamp. Yeah, I mean it adds run for every pixel here. It's not even optimized. For every pixel. It's not, and when I see a lot of this code, I'm like, it's alien to me. It's not the way I would write it. The plasma is the most common. I'm just gonna show you example. I'm gonna show you what I did this year. Okay, the plasma is much better, but I think I have hacked it. I think this wasn't the first time. And usually they made something very smooth that is either very smooth in or smooth out. And I'm asking, please, can you do it this? Can you do it that? Maybe I even ask it, can you make it with lookup tables? It's an old one. I don't have the prompts. It does. I don't do fixed point stuff. I just have the values that are scaled up and they just add. It always does it in a more complicated way than I do it, but it doesn't matter. Maybe I'll pass to the recent one. I just want to remember. And maybe that's not the first thing. And this is the row. This was interesting because I told it to generate some hexagonal texture. And again, I don't remember. But again, these are very common effects. So yeah, last year I would ask ChatGPT, I would ask Grok sometimes. I would do various experiments. I would do an experiments to do some 3D code and do some awful thing. I would give it an empty function, a frame buffer, and I say only do this. I don't want you to ask to do anything. I didn't want to say please make cool demo because here it says please make a cool demo, but it wasn't please make a cool demo. It is a bit of an exaggeration. Like the thing is, I primed the workspace with other demos first, and my idea is that here today, and even a few years ago, I didn't know you can open copilot. Maybe this is that's all is also again with grok. We'll see it. But the thing is, I might have to revert it that I haven't committed. You could have other demos. Maybe it's not here. Maybe it's somewhere else. And it could look at other code and say, oh, here is a plasma effect, here is a fractal, here is something. You can find examples. Because this is supposed to be a voxel, but when I asked it to make a voxel, I didn't even got that. Sometimes you get crazy stuff. Anyway, I'll go now to the next thing I did yesterday, and not the things I was trying in the past. In the past, I was like, I'm not gonna tell you to do the entire thing. So last thing, I was worrying about like what does it mean one saw? Is it exaggeration? And I mean now you are asking the AI, is the AI not gonna tell you no, it's absolute bullshit, it doesn't happen. It's gonna tell you people promote it, and even ChatGPT. I was just asking. So yes, it's possible. And okay, it might say yes. Sometimes it's exaggeration, sometimes it's not. So the truth is in the middle, let's say. So there is, and in reality, if you go today in Twitter and see people discussing AI, some people who are professionals will say it's the most amazing thing. It does everything, and others will say no, it's absolutely garbage. And they are also professionals. And some of them might have used it more than I did. I might have not used it, okay, much. I might have. I know that it is not it's not the proper way to go to ChatGPT or Grok and say please make this. The proper way is to get code agents. A copilot is the simple one. There are others, and you have to pay for the good model. So okay, I guess yeah, but I'm not gonna pay when people are promoting. No, this is the most amazing thing. You are missing out. You are missing out, dude. Here is your drug, but no. We are we're gonna hype it, and if you don't, there are people who bought, who are paying tokens, and they say, I'm trying to use it, and it's BS. And there are others who say, what are you talking about? It works perfectly. So I'm gonna say, the truth is, I would say in the middle, or I would say it's very subjective, and also there are, you might want to promote, you are very enthusiastic about it, you might, okay, you might be prompting 10 times, you might get one good result and say, yeah, there it is, I once sorted it, oh my god, this is amazing. Okay, so or not. Now I'm gonna continue with, I'm gonna say that yeah, it is impressive because I made some recent. My first thing a few days ago was maybe it was that one, but in this one I went to grok, and grok is not the best, I guess, and I say, okay, let's try it. Okay, I'll buy it. So if I ask you to make a demo live, it even said, no, no, I'm gonna make, this is the structure of the product. Okay, let's try this. And I say, okay, give me the code. I will put it in Visual Studio, connect the libraries, don't bother. And I say, I will provide the music. Give me something with music.mp3 as that, and texture PNG. And but I said simple things like screen fades in with 3D stars. There is a logo that I will provide, a face. Then there is a simple plasma, and I will type the scroll text, but just put lorem ipsum in the scroll. Then I will. A while rotozoomer appears, it also distorts. It didn't. I don't remember what did appear. 3D tunnel appears in wireframe cubes cover. Yeah, I didn't go. I say okay, let's do this for. Let's see. Now this is. I have a discussion where I'm like, I don't like this, I don't like that. Ba 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 ba, and it was making sense. And I was copying and pasting, copying. At some point, I lost the. I will tell you what happened. Now I'm gonna run this one and see what happens. This is on debug mode. There is some music. There is some stars, but the logo doesn't appear anymore. The plasma with bands appear. The fonts below. Black screen, and then again black screen. And that's because, oh, I was trying to debug, and I couldn't figure out why. After so many iterations, why can I not? I was clicking that and I couldn't. But that's not what happened in the beginning. And I might go backwards now. However, I haven't committed, so I cannot revert. So in order to see what I got first, I got something in all the parts, but then there was something with the speed. So now this is what I did yesterday, and this is the bad way. This is why I realized I have to switch to some code age, and that changes the code for you. You cannot. This is not how you should do. It made some SDL wrapper. It made some crap. It might not be crap, but it's weird. It's not. It doesn't even look like my. Why have it create? We're gonna revert the universe now. Sorry about that. I know that it's crap. It says timer.h plus cpp, but it's just timer.h. A scene manner. It went very virtual function things. This is not how I usually make my demos. So I know, and we are gonna go to the later. I just want that we see everything. Now I don't know if this will I wouldn't do a woo line. I would do some draw functions thing. I wouldn't do a whole file just for the woo line. I asked it to do a woo line. By the way, yeah, here, and of course it didn't. There was a few errors. Here is the problem. Everything that it does it with SDL set render draw call set render draw point. You will see. I'm gonna have to go like this and do everything because I was just doing this and never store in a repository. This is supposed to be the. So like it does a plasma, and instead of writing in a frame buffer, for every pixel it calls set render draw color set render draw point. Okay, and that's awful. Now I didn't ask it to make it fast and use the frame buffer. That's the difference in my previous experiments and after. I was gradually saying, we are writing in a frame buffer. Don't use SDL commands. You are gonna just write in this frame buffer. Maybe that's the better way. Maybe it's better to prepare something on your own. And now I tell it there are mistakes. I say, okay, sorry, scene manager. So I told you, see, there are a lot of mistakes, a lot of missing stuff. Okay, I mean that's good that there is gonna be compilation error for whatever reason. Sorry that it's so cringe. See, and some of them just. It says this is what it was missing for the swap, and it does STD swap with that. It uses a lot of things that I personally don't use. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Maybe it's right. Maybe I can do it. And the worst offender is that everything in all of this is using. This is not fast for software rendering. And then I tell it there was this bug and one bug was that. Oh, and put comments for STD swap. Why don't you put comments? Because it got. Yeah, effect and stuff. Here it stopped. It said, okay, just I'm not gonna tell you anymore. Go and put it. Okay, whatever. See math. It's this whole generation. It creates things that. First of all, I go with the mentality that I'm vibe coding now. I'm not gonna read it. Why would I read it? Ah, this is later. So okay. A warning. Okay, this is easy. I did it on my own. It was like that. The others are warnings. Okay. Ah, okay, I did that too. I thought this was a warning. And let's see what we get. Oh, the Batman logo. The stars are all over the place. See the stars? They're not moving properly. This is super slow. That's not even a plasma. What the hell is that? This is the tunnel. This is the 3D tunnel. With the rotating wireframe cube. Okay, here's the thing. You could say one shot is when you did that. Okay, when you did that there are some compiler errors, but it was simple. Yeah, you can call it. Okay, the first one shot was when Where was it? When I after that, when it fixed the stuff, wait. I could say this is the one shot. This is the point of the one shot. I will not say the first time that it compiled, that it finally compiled, and yes, it made something with 4 parts. It made some timer, plays the music. I just went in and just put the stuff there. That's all I did. I manually set up, copy the SDL libraries, manually set up SDL to use USR include wherever I have it and linger USR lib and input the SDL stuff. I did that on my own. I didn't ask the AI. I put the files, but it gave me the whole thing. Yeah, okay. I could call it one shot. Supposedly it produced the code. I copied manually, which is not very nice because I need to go to copilot or other co-agents, the code agents, so that they do that for you. You don't have to. It's not, using grok or chat-gpt is not the right way to code unless you give it something small like fill this function with the solution, and I'll copy it. I realized this is not the good way, but that first day I was doing that, okay, and this is the point of the one shot for me. Like finally, I have something that runs the for effect. The logo appears and fades. The stars are all over the place. They are not smooth. They are just some noise stars. There is a broken plasma. This is supposed to be the scroll text, even with lorem ipsum that I will. This is supposed to be the rotozoomer. I don't know what this thing is. And this is 3D tunnel, suppose. That's your one shot. Now, in my first try, and I get it, I'm using grok, I'm not using the good model and so on. I never did something complete with screen with. I never got something like this, and if you run it, you will see there's something complete from start to finish without any mistake. It's an average demo. It's just some very standard effects, but at least it runs and everything is in order. There is scroll text, there is stuff, things fade in out. It could pass. It could pass like a complete demo. Like, okay, you couldn't even know someone vibe coded it, and that was the one shot. But the one shot here is that this is why. Okay, it's impressive that it can even produce that. There are 4 running things with a sequence, things fade in out. It's impressive, but that's where it goes. And then I started going. Let me see where I was. That was my point. It works now. But where is my texture? Okay, it says that there was a placeholder. Why did it you one shot? I told you. And now I can go and add the rotozoomer. And then a slow plasma. Oh, there is a rotozoomer. Even if it's slow, it does it. Wow. Why is it not pushing? But okay. and that. And this is what I realized. Both the plasma and the rotozoomer are very slow. Why are you using this SDL put picture style function? Not do it direct to the SDL frame buffer. And always replies, yes, you're right. This is the main performance. Yes, you're right. Yes, you're absolutely right. I'm gonna do it for you. And it might say, yeah, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna change the renderer. I'm gonna change this SDL wrapper that I never read. Guys, I'm vibe coding. Why would I read it? And I'm not gonna do everything. I'm just gonna hit a point. Now remember also, fast plasma effect. I'm so thrilled, man. I'm gonna get my one-shot demo. Fast roto zoomer, replace. It didn't replace the header file. Oh, see, okay, something already is. Note, SDL get text to pixel is not real for real. Yeah, why are you not doing it? It gave me something that doesn't compile. It put some mock function. Why don't you replace SDL get text to pixel with reading the value from the text? I don't understand. And look, it reads it from the texture buffer. There it is. Ty by texture pitch divided by 4. It's dividing the texture pitch by 4. Why is it not calculating this out so that it doesn't make the division all the time? But whatever, it's gonna be a shift, maybe not. It's a sign in. Why? I don't like the whole thing. Check for bounds. It's very. Every pixel is gonna do this calculation instead of having a. You might say it doesn't matter. Whatever. Okay, I'm building it. And now, okay, there were some mistakes. And it always replied, oh, you do that. Try this and tell me. It should be significant. What do you want me to do next? It's so cringe. And I think I'm gonna stop it, but I'm gonna hit the next point where this finally worked. Now I replaced the SDL wrapper with some. When it finally worked, it broke. Finally. I want you to notice something. Oh, black screen. Nothing displayed anymore. Oh, the plasma display and the plasma form changed. Why did the plasma form change? But it fixed. The plasma wasn't even. Oh, and it crashed. Anyway, and it goes on, half of the screen. And because I'm vibe coding, I don't want to see what the hell is it doing with the SDL wrapper, and I don't even need all that code to write. My own SDL stuff are very minimal. I don't need create window creator. You might need to create some stuff, but I'm not. So black empty screen. You notice that I told it to fix the plasma, make the plasma faster, whatever. It's still slow, but for other reasons. Seamless scroll text using rectangles, fast enough. And it might be still slow because it does this. However, here's the thing. Did you know the previous plasma were some squares with some solid color cycle, but this one, the form of the plasma changed and it's more okay except the banding. It still needs a lot, but it changed. It improved the plasma. However, I never asked it. That's the other thing with the LLMs. I never asked it. I asked it the thing you wrote it, make it not use those SDL put pixel whatever. But by mixing and matching stochastically things, it fixed. I'm not gonna continue with that. I'm gonna say I was going. At some point, it fixed the stars. The stars were finally zooming from the center, and I never asked it to fix the stars. I asked it, and it shouldn't be fixing the star because I was gonna ask it later. Because I asked it, because it can go the other way around. You can have some effect that works mathematically. The form is good, but it's slow, and you say make it fast or change the render, and it should just change the rendering, and it goes and alters different thing. It did change something with the star, and the stars were finally zooming from the center, from the screen center, and you could see them coming from the center properly. So that's the other thing. The thing is, I went back and then I'm like, I'm done. Half of the screens we were going back and forth. The alternative was to see the SDL wrapper and see what do we have, what kind. We have an SDL render, get render window, new streaming texture, and I don't understand. I mean, probably this is why, but why? Fuck that shit. And okay, I I don't know if I have. I'll go with the other one. In this one, I decided, you know what? Let's get with the present times and let's run some. And if you said, oh, you should use this other agent and so on, I don't care. We use this on in my job, and also I never use it for writing code. I use it to code review, to give a second code review. Help me with things I've missed, and that can be helpful there. And yeah, you have it creates some copilot instructions, md whatever. Resume. Yeah, that was the one. Now, unfortunately, I don't know if I can revert. So what I got here for okay, here I didn't exactly took the one shot entirely. I started and said, let us create a project. And I told it, let us create. It was those files did a part 1, 2, 3. I told it to separate things a bit. It worked differently. It did a main.cpp with everything in. And I say, okay, move the parts on the places. I don't want everything here. And it wasn't that. Okay, I don't know how to revert. I haven't made commits. I don't know if I can say revert all the code back to our earlier. The thing is, I I decided to not take the approach. Please make a cool demo. I decided to say make an interface, make some SDL buffer, and just add some noise, just some noisy pixel. Make something, and also load, just load my texture PNG. I decided to go more simple, which is how it should be, step by step. This whole one shot. Oh, I told it to make a whole application. It's it's a lot of code, and if people are going, it's promoted this vibe coding like, oh, I tell it to do everything. Why should I go step by step? And So I'm going to start making an empty cell. Some boilerplate, some frame buffer software rendering, but just do some random noise. And maybe display the texture there. Let's start from the sim. Let's see if this works. If this works, we can proceed. Then for a test, I told it make a plasma effect. Now, granted, it worked much better than grok or chat-gpt. So this works much better. It was more consistent. That is impressive. And then I said, however, I have the last code here. Then I said, after one effect to work, I said I don't want to use CMake. I don't know CMake. I'm gonna make a Visual Studio. I'm gonna connect just because I will not know if something goes wrong. I will not know. I will do a sudden jump, one-shot demo. I'm gonna do a one-shot demo. And I say it fades with the star fade, blah blah blah. Now it didn't do what you are gonna see, but it did much better. And I don't know what at which stage it is, and if I broke it after a lot of attempts. Hold, I was checking a frame rate, and I told it to put some limit FPS to disable the FPS because it did actually it did the target FPS 60. It did the frame rate counter. I didn't even ask for it, but good. I told it the stars to go and become bigger circles. That's very nice. Now here I told it something different. We changed it. Here it's a sphere map with some plasma, some order. And also the plasma goes there. Here was a rotosumer with a fire. I added the fire later. It looks like a plasma wave. And the tunnel, I'm taking a screenshot so that and the rotating thing. And I wanted it to make a voxel, but it never did, so I changed it. I have to go back. It made some nice blobs. However, this is not the one shot. This is a lot of conversation, and maybe I should try to get the one shot. I wanted to say something. When I first told it to make a tunnel, where is the zoom? You see this dark and this bright. This didn't exist, of course. Everything was bright, and then I thought, can you make the far away tunnel, the far side of the tunnel? Can you make it here? Can you make it? And I say the far side of the tunnel, I want it to fade to black, to get darker. And when I told it, it made this part black, and not just here, but all the way. And I'm like, no, I want the far away. And then what did it do? It did this part bright. Or maybe I have an idea. I say, oh, good idea. I want you to reverse it, but I want here to go dark and here to go white, so that it's bright here for some reason and it goes dark there. And it did the opposite. It did this bright and it did this dark, but it wasn't even here. It was going all the way here. And then I was starting, no, you got it backwards. You reversed that, and you could never do it. And at one point it did. Where are the? It did around here. It did it black, then white, fade to black, then white, then here white, then here white. It did concentric cycles of fading to black and fading to white, and I could never make it run. Then Back in the conversation, I was asking you to do voxels. And I don't know anymore. Can we reverse the whole code? Some of my earlier, when I wanted to make landscape like many iterations ago. Now I'm not clear, but I don't know if there is a way, if I can see all the things and say this, go back to this. Because I never committed the changes so that I can revert. Revert it all. Now, okay, I'm gonna say something that I dislike a lot of things about AI for various reasons. It's not about fear. It's not. It's about a lot of things. People, why are you asking me again? But and I was just casually using chat-gpt and grok and whatever. And I thought code agents would be sophisticated and you have to pay. But then I realized you can download at least copilot, at least something and try it. And I know there are others better more. I'm gonna say something about that. And I kinda like this thing that the agent can look at the root of your project, so you don't have to copy paste, and you can even say, I'm not gonna generate code review my code, find some issues, and if I like the things you find, I might correct. If I don't like, I'm gonna ignore you. Or I have a bug, tell me where it could be, because I really couldn't find it. I mean, why not? I wouldn't like it for various reasons to write code for me, because when I write code, I have a mental connection with my code. I have a mental connection with the style of I write the code, the way I structure. I don't do this virtual function, SDL wrappers, and so on. Actually, this one didn't do. Oh wow, that's very colorful there. I kinda like this CLI. Okay, and I have to admit some of these things, some of these LLMs and so on, and the code, they are impressive. I understand what people do, but there is a lot of things that is anti-engineering to me. And I mean, there are various arguments for various different sides that I'm more negative than positive. Now, they are in our lives. Sometimes I ask ChatGPT for things that have nothing to do with code. I'm just curious about something. And of course, I take it with a grain of salt, but whatever. I don't know why I get this red no match found this. And I know I'm using, because it's free, it's GPT-5 mini. Okay, there are other models. But I just don't believe, okay, when when the LLMs struggle to one shot something, struggle to do something, I don't believe that it's only because you didn't use the best model. And I'll tell you why. Because every one of these are doing the same thing. They do this stochastic matching. No model creates, like a human, a robust, perfect model of I have the whole picture of what your code does and I have a very specific focus. Even I think this is wishful thinking, but that's what I think. Because this stochastic thing plays all the time. It might be that the statistics, the correlation are, it's like it understands the context, But it's always gambling. It's always gambling. So maybe some models are converging better a bit to what you ask, but they all do the same thing, and that thing is not precise engineering. That thing is never precise engineering. So maybe I could one shoot things better, but not one shot. It's still not one shot. Now we might not be able to get it back, of course. Look what it did, for example. Oh my god. It even generated bad characters. Okay, which human programmer is gonna do some Unicode, whatever that was? No one would do that. Okay, we have the same star. Now that's it. That's a tunnel with plasma. It did something new now. You are looking at an entirely new thing I have never seen. It's the plane rotation. I want to see if we get the box. No, we get the tunnel. Maybe part 5. Nothing changed. Oh, actually, it did something different now. It never have done this. Here is the thing. You are telling, please go back. This plasma tunnel, I've never seen it. And also, I'll tell you, the first time I got... Why am I not seeing those? The first time I told it to make voxel, it made some sine wave line and some other, and like that, they weren't even connected. It made 3 sine wave lines moving around. Then it added more. It did a nice sine wave. It was like some Amiga demo with many sine wave demos, sine wave lines waving around in a. And maybe it had some depth. Maybe it went back to the Z. It never did that. It never did the solid part. Now it managed to do the solid part. Now I'm not very specific. Here is the thing. You are telling now. I'm not very specific. Maybe there is some command if you do this. Maybe some command to say regress to something I'm gonna choose so that I get the exact code. Obviously, I should have committed. I was doing this as an experiment, and I never cared about committing it to a repository because I was pissed with the whole thing. It's the first time that the voxel, it's not even a voxel, it's still a field thing. It's the first time that it's a solid thing, but the front part goes in front. It made a voxel tunnel. Sorry, plasma tunnel. And here's the thing, I never asked it. You tell it, I want to go back to the voxel. It does new thing, it sends code. It sends code that has nothing. It took the code from this one and it does total stochastic matching without any plan. Now it's hard. Replace all effects with effects of your liking. I can one shot. I'm gonna. Where are the okay? The metaballs have gone. And here's the thing. I'm saying that many times. I recently found out this is something Jonathan Blow says a lot. And when you see some of his videos, or actually this stupid channel which says Jonathan G Blow fan and Jonathan Blow highlights, there is someone in the comments says, at minute 2:35, here is the thing. I found the thing. And there was one of the video that when it started with, here is the thing. And now you think this is an AI that was, oh my god, I'm gonna imagine my own effects. You think the AI, it's not even an AI, it's a large language model or whatever. I mean, it might seem technically an AI in the sense that it seems very amazing, very impressive. Guys, we are calling AI everything. We are we're calling image processing, we're calling it AI. We're calling image recognition AI because I guess it's like, okay, it's vision and vision has to understand. We are calling other things AI because they seem intelligent. They seem like they did something that it doesn't work with pure automation. Now I'm not again. I think it's impressive. It's impressive that I will tell it this and it's gonna do this change. But it did. If you tell it revert the code, look at all the conversation and go back to the first time we had a voxel landscape and revert everything, it shouldn't change the plasma to the tunnel plasma. This is this is so random. And also it didn't revert the tunnel still has the fade. When I was going with the plasma, that tunnel didn't have the darker rings and brighter rings. If I ask it now to remove the darker brighter rings, it might just do whatever and it might change something else. There is no logical connection. This is a stochastically matched code. I'm gonna run it last time now because I'm curious. And you see, this is gambling. I just thought, oh, what if I tell it, replace all these effects with effects of your own? Just write some other stuff, bro. I'm just curious, okay? I'm not ending the recording because I'm fucking curious. What's gonna do? I mean, you could do something. First of all, in in the demo scene sense, it makes no. There is no point. You are doing demo effect because you want to do it on your own. From engineering perspective, I don't see any. I see it's very dirty. Let's see. Hyperspace Starfleet with tricks. Fast and swirling plan with color sign. It didn't replay it. It updated. The kaleidoscope to zoom sampling the logo, mirror axis, warp tuning with radar. Yeah. Okay. Somewhere above, I told it you can never do the voxel escape. Make metaballs for the fifth part. That's why I say go back. I hope it builds. It doesn't build. It does. It does these things. Why? Oh my god. Oh my god. Look at this. Look. This is your AI coding, man. It's stochastically copying pasting. A human programmer would not do that. That's my issue. This is random. It's not like no, he would do it. He would have a reason to do it. I can't put my mind to do a smooth stem now. I'm so tired. Oh my god, why are you thinking? Is it some STDs? Oh, maybe it just needs include. Starting in line smooth step. Float ABC. Now it did it. Now it did it. I guess it also missed this line. Have you seen this N character, this Unicode something? There was an N and I got something. Have you seen the function that was copied twice? It doesn't have, it's just mixing and matching. Even this is not engineering. Oh, the original, that's the original. Oh, okay, but they don't zoom in, but okay. Oh, that's a squid plasma. The colors map well. It's very psychedelic. Oh, it's the rotozoomer with the blend out from the tuner. The fade out. And that's the tuner. What the hell is that? That's the blobs again, but very small. That's another reason I feel. If this thing you say you didn't say that well. You didn't prompt it well, bro. It shouldn't. If I told the human programmer make cool effects, bro, it wouldn't copy paste. You might say by mistake, but that's the thing. The programmer might have copy pasted and had the same line twice, and he would see it because he would compile it. Say, "Oops, oh, I copy pasted." He wouldn't put this in. But this is because the stochastic mix batcher code somehow fit these parts of lines with those parts, those lines. Even if most of the time, okay, I'm gonna give you something. It is impressive. It is impressive that I can say I could play all day. I could say mix again the effects, and I could do this different. It could be, or make this different thing, or make that. And it is like gambling. It's like, oh my god, I'm gonna compile. I wonder what I will get. I wonder what I will get now. It's impressive. It's a bit of a mess. It's not optimized. It's code that I don't want to touch myself. That's my problem. Because I don't want in general to put code in my here because I'm doing an experiment. The goal is to not look at the goal. The goal is to say, okay, whatever you give me, I'm gonna put it. I don't care. That's the goal. Here it's repeating. Oh, if it's this part and this part, if t is less or greater fade, then actually this is funny. I was curious and it actually did it. I was trying other. It originally did this blend with fade. Now this is the only one I can read and say, yeah, that's for single core and not simmed. It's absolutely it looks very similar to. It's a small snippet of how I would do it. Like yes, if get the thing, multiply it and so on. But it multiplies with a fade, with a float. Okay, I mean it might be okay to. I could do some fixed point thing. Multiply, get it multiplied by I don't know 256 or something, and shift right. Or multiplied by a fade value from 0 to 255, shift right by 8. I would do things like that. But okay. This is something that I would expect a human to write. And then I was curious. This is a very common thing, and this is a thing that must be very common to write with sim. And I just as an experiment, and I guess it's impressive. I say write sim. I don't know about write it with intrinsic. It did it. I don't know how it is, but it worked at least. It improved a bit the speed. The slowness wasn't because of the fade. The slowness was about the other thing. But because it separated it Previously, yeah, that's the old code. Previously, it would call this per pixel after it got the variable. Now it does this in a separated. Yeah, it does it after running its effect. It says, okay, apply on the frame buffer. So it's separated. Previously, inside the every effect, it would do the fade by calling that, which is okay. But because it was separated, some effects went from 100 frames to 150. Initially, the plasma were like 30 frames, and the rotozoom because of a lot of trigonometric and other stuff. And I was asking it, can you make some of these things lookup table? It still made a mess, and it didn't do everything. And also, if you make the kaleidoscopic rotozoom or whatever, it's not even a kaleidoscope. The description makes no sense. You've seen it. It was just a rotozoomer with the fade color. You have seen Vig. This is Vignet. I never asked for Vignet. I asked it. This goes from the tunnel. I asked it to, as it goes far away to the tunnel, to fade out by distance, fade out the color, so it gets darker far away in the tunnel. And it did the opposite of it. It did fade out in the corners in Clean, and this is what they call vignette, I guess, in a way. And now it did ah. Oh yeah, I'm gonna say okay. I'm sorry for arguing here. I'm sorry for speaking about these things. Uh, I can say okay. I guess if you use code agents and especially the models, I'm not gonna pay. It is possible to one, and I don't know if you would one shot because you would not one shot the exact effects you want. You would get some effect. You could get other things that you would want to change. And one might say you didn't prompt well, you didn't wrote some sophisticated prompting .md, but the description was I asked it to make cool demo, just that. And this is also, I asked it, please one shot me this demo, I'm gonna describe you the effects. The next experiment would be to like start anew and say make a demo with 10 effects, one after the other. Make different parts that fade, and I don't describe you the effects. Do whatever you want. Do whatever the hell you want. The other interesting thing, I don't know if we can see it with the plasma, color wheel mapping. Is this the plasma? Draw streak. It says that the stars have streaks, but I don't know what it means and it doesn't make sense. It's just made up. A lot of the stuff are made up, even if you get an impressive result. I haven't told you about someone long time ago got the claim that I got Optidoom and I put Claude to make a refactor and make amazing stuff, and it made something that crashed. It made some crap. It made some. If you run it on 3D emulated, it crashes. I managed to compile it, and Claude was writing comments like I did this. I replaced the software rendering in floor and ceiling of Optidoom with actually using the cell renderer and doing much faster, and it didn't do it. It would describe things like that. It would describe in comments and things in a description of the project. It would say we did this and that and that and that. Okay, now that might be correct. It would describe things like it says something. This is the start. You saw it was just Do you see any streaks? Or maybe, okay, maybe it means it might mean, yeah, that it's like and it's like race a bit, streaks. Okay, maybe it did, I don't know. It says vignette, I asked it for more, it does random stuff. It tries to match, it tries to impress, it tries to, oh, it's doing stuff, but it's so random because it doesn't listen to you. It's not a conscious engineer. That's my point. Is it interesting as an experiment? Yeah, I guess. I might actually try it in the future, but just I'm not gonna publish anything. I'm done with it. I might open a new one and empty. I might even get my own SDL default project empty, and I say you have the software buffer there. You have something. You can make some timing with the effects. Like maybe I have some example empty thing, and I say I want you to take and make a demo with 10 effects in a row and see what it produces. But maybe I wanted to ask it, please use some fonts. Maybe I will put some fonts and make a scroll text and make everything. I'm curious, but this thing is more like gambling now. It's definitely not engineering. It's just curious, and I get why people are losing their shit. But there is a lot of messages of no, no, my God, it's amazing. This is how we are gonna write software in the future. I'm not against entirely. It's like it can be useful if you don't use it, don't offload the work. If you say I'm gonna from time to time run it in my project route, just ask it to review some code or help me with something, which I will curate later. If I take a small solution ever, I will see and I will rewrite it in my own way. I will not ask it to rewrite. I might see some code and say this is not how I would write, but I roughly get how this works now with this example code, and that's it. Of course, if you do it, forget about 10x and 100x engineering. Forget about that. Because if you have 10x and 100, it's gonna be slow. It's gonna be something that might work, but it's so unmaintained and so left in the randomness, in the stochastic randomness of whatever. Anyways, guys, I haven't done anything in this channel, and I wanted to offload my thoughts and maybe show you this funny thing. It's actually funny to show those examples. And I was doing other things sometimes. One, I asked it. It's good if you want. I wanted to do something on just open a canvas and make something. And I just told grok make me a canvas with random noise, not plasma, and then I'm gonna write some plasma. And just made the basic thing, and then I wrote this thing on my own. But I just wanted something with a frame counter, so it might be good. Like I have no idea how to. It's the most basic thing. I never did web. Give me JavaScript canvas to experiment with software rendering here for no reason, and that was also funny. Something very simple. Then I was asking it. I don't have Silang anymore. I was curious about WebAssembly, and I was trying to connect something, but I built the WASM, but it crashed. Okay, maybe there is something I don't know about. So I never got into not WebAssembly, compiling a C code into WASM, and I got it at the time to see, okay, the speed of JavaScript It's something like that. And I wanted to see how much difference compared to C. It's nice for some boilerplate that you want to test something. And you don't want to bother, okay, how do I connect this in web? Anyways, maybe I was trying other thing. I was asking it for Z80 assembly. It was hilarious. I was asking to do some 3D crap. I'm not gonna show everything. And that's it, guys. I guess bye.